Hello again, YouTubers, it's Michael again, doing an unboxing and review of the motor that I chose to install in my Xcub Hangar 9 60cc. As you can see there, I'm on the DL Engines Australia website, which distribute the DLE engines. In this case, I decided to go for the DLE 55RA, single-cylinder petrol engine, as opposed to the initial engines that I was thinking of installing. I'll just quickly highlight why I chose this motor and the quick specifications that this motor puts out. So, from DL Engines Australia, I'd like to thank Jackie for the advice that she gave in terms of this motor when I had an issue and a question, or a few questions actually. She was more than happy to respond, and very knowledgeable in the products that she sells at DL Engines. So special shout out to her and thank you. The DLE 55RA is a rear exhaust engine with the latest version 4.8 to 8.4 volt electric auto advancing ignition and spiral cable wraps is what it comes with. It also has a 5.5 horsepower output at 8500 RPM and idle speed of 1550 RPM. Now my model is around about the 12.9 to 13.5 kilo mark. So this engine putting out 12.8 kilos at 1800 meters would basically mean that I'd be getting close to, if not 1-to-1 thrust to weight ratio. The prop that I chose for this build is a 3-blade 2210. It does specify 3-blade props to be 2010, 2012, 2111 and 2210, but I've gone somewhere in between there and gone to 2210, which is recommended as a 2-blade, but I guess in time we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it won't be a $290 mistake. So the specifications, the reason I chose this engine is because it does give me almost, if not 1-to-1 thrust to weight ratio. So it's going to fly with almost endless climb, which is what I wanted. You've also got the no fuss 2-year factory back DL engines warranty from DL Australia. And the other thing that I was advised by Jackie from DL is they will service the engine for free when it comes to the service intervals of the engine, which I have to read up on in the instruction manuals. But it's good to know that they'll service it. The only thing I need to pay for will be the parts and obviously the shipping as well to DL. So without mucking around anymore and also taking too much time, I want to keep this as short as I can for you guys so you don't get bored. I'll jump to the unboxing of the engine. Just a quick disclaimer, this is not a paid advertisement for DL Australia or DLE engines. I did purchase this motor with my own money. So let's see what they give. So out of the box, comes with all the literature that you need. So the instruction manual, which is in English, obviously made in China. It does actually include a Chinese manual in here as well. For those of you who can read Chinese and speak Chinese, good, very good thing to have, being bilingual. So opening it up, it's very well packaged with a lot of foam, so it's very well insulated from vibrations when it comes to transporting the engine from the factory in China to DL Australia and DL Engines Australia, and then onto the hobby shop that you purchase it off. Inside the box you get the DLE electronic ignition with the CM6 NGK plug, which comes standard now out of the box, and also the Chinese made spark plug as a spare. Now up to you if you want to use the Chinese made plug. I have been advised to just keep that as a emergency spare and go straight to the NGK, as that offers better better running of the engine. The other good thing about the electronic ignition that DLE use is that it does have an RPM tachometer out, excuse me, which means you can use your telemetry, which I use Spectrum. I fly with a Spectrum DX9, and it will be perfect for the either the TM1000 or the new receivers that Spectrum come out with PowerSafe that actually include telemetry in there, which I'll be detailing that on the upcoming videos as to the receiver I decided to go with on this build. So you also get a Pitts muffler out of the box, which I'll be using. However, with gas motors, you do have multiple options when it comes to exhaust. You can get canister exhausts, you can get tune pipes, but I guess whatever takes your fancy. I'll just be using that to see how it goes. You also have the extension ports with the clamps to extend the exhaust outlets. So at least you get that out of the box instead of having to buy them from your hardware store. You get standoffs with hex bolts. Now the Xcub Hangar 9 does come with standoffs in the box, so if these don't, or if these aren't sufficient in terms of the length, I will be using the ones out of the box from Hangar 9. You get the gasket, again 50-50 on advice. 50% of people get rid of these and make their own gaskets with high temp gasket maker, the red stuff, and 50% use the actual gasket from out of the box. So that's coming from professional flyers all over the world. Again, it depends whichever one takes your fancy as to which one you'll use. I personally have used both, haven't had issues with neither. On my Evolution 33cc Super Cub with the 33GX, I used gasket maker, which I didn't have any issues with. But on my 26cc Tailorcraft, which is the plane I had before the Super Cub, I used the gasket. So no issues with either. The other thing that I've noticed is the extra padding, and then obviously this is wrapped up in the bag, so it doesn't, it's as protected as it can be during transportation. Now I blocked the engine off myself with some tape, so it doesn't get any debris in there while I test mount it on the test bed and also onto the cowl. It's just for extra safety from my standpoint, because you never know when you get debris in there how hard it is to get out, and obviously you won't be able to see it unless you take it apart, which could end up ruining your experience. So just for added safety, I did that the day I received it. Out of the factory, out of the box, you get a Walbro carburetor, which is a WT1113737, which is good. It's not a DLE Walbro knockoff. It's actually a genuine Walbro carburetor, which is good to see. And a lot of people actually say to get rid of the this screw here, which basically is a stopper. I don't know exactly what it's called, what the terminology for it is, but it stops the throttle from going all the way back. Now your servo should be able to take care of that, so I've been advised to get rid of that, which I will straight out of the box, because you want full control of the of this throttle from your servo instead of having that, because it actually could cause you more pain or cause you more tuning issues if you don't take that off, as I've been advised. Now, the other thing that I do recommend is when you purchase your prop, if it's not in stock, or even if it is in stock, get your hobby shop to drill the propeller, as it's a lot easier, especially if you don't have a bench drill. They do recommend not to drill propellers, whether it be wood, plastic, or carbon fiber. In my case, they do recommend that you do not drill it by hand or freehand drill, as obviously a lot of things could go wrong. You could slip, or you could go off course by a fraction of a millimeter, and it could ruin your day, especially when props for this start at 22 inch, which means even if you're buying a plastic 2-blade 22 inch, it still costs around about $70 for an APC. If you go for the 3-blade carbon prop like I did, they cost around about $150 for a Mejlik 3-blade prop, then plus the spinner. So it helps if you just get it drilled, pay the $10. But those of you who do have a bench drill at home and who know what you're doing, obviously nothing stops you from doing that yourself. So hopefully that's been a insightful video for you in terms of the engine. I'll be posting more videos in regards to the electronics of the build very shortly. But until then, please like if you like the video, press like. If not, I do appreciate your comments, whether they're positive or negative. Negative comments tell me where I have to improve. The positive ones tell me where I'm going right. But I do look forward to your feedback. So once again, I'd like to say thank you to DL Australia and Hobbyman for supplying this engine for me and delivering it very quickly. It only took 4 days from order to receipt of the item, and from what I can see, it's worth what I paid for. So until the next video, thank you very much for watching, and look forward to seeing your comments.